Hey, this is Passy from Passy's World of ICT, the guy with the white hat. And this is just a quick little video about how you can copy a form you already have into a new project that you're making. There are some issues if that form you've already got has some images on it, and we'll talk about that. And then you can also set up so that that form you've copied in, that'll be the first form that runs in the new project. So instead of the new project doing form 1 automatically first, when you start it up, it's actually going to run this form that you've copied across. Okay, so they're the things we're going to do, and hopefully this won't take too long for us to explain to you what's going on, because this was an issue that our students had when they were making some projects. So sometimes you're starting up a new project, but you've already got some of the things you need for an old project. So it's quicker and much quicker, rather than get into a new project and build the whole form from the ground up, putting the labels and text boxes in. Just grab the old form from the old project that has most of that stuff in it and just copy it into your new project. All right, so here we've got this login form, which was for the Tennis Dream Team login, and we may want to copy this and take it into a new project. Now, it's not as simple as like copying a picture from one PowerPoint into another, Control-C, Control-V. It's a little bit more involved than that, as we shall see. And that's just the nature of VBNet, because we've got a whole project structure here with many files. It's not just simple as a Word or a PowerPoint. However, there is one little problem with that particular form we're looking at right now on the screen. And the form copy process, it doesn't work when you've got resource images on the form. So you can't copy the pictures across as well. And we'll go into that a little bit more later on in this presentation. But that existing form, it's got the picture box of the eye icon here. And it's also got our tennis player in a picture box there. And, excuse me, we just put the big cross symbol there because that's not going to work, okay? You can't copy those across. And there's also problems if this already has some code behind the form. So that can be a problem when you copy this form with its code, because that code's likely not to work in the new project straight away. So if you want to keep that code, well, it's there in the old project, but you could also just copy and paste it out into a Word doc to keep it temporarily as well. All right, so for the existing login form we want to copy, we need to clean that form up. So we don't want to ruin our original project. So you go to the main top folder, just using normal Windows Explorer of your previous project, and just do Control-C on that and then Control-V to paste it. And when you paste it, it'll make the same name -copy. And so, sorry, I got a frog in my throat here. So it's this copy one. This copy one's the one we're going to work on so that our original one stays intact. So we open up the solution for our copy one, open up the login form, and we just get rid of the eye picture on the password and the picture box that has the tennis player. And we also double click on that form and we get rid of all of the code inside the form, except for just have public class up the top, and that was called login form, and end class, okay? So just keep the public class at the top and the end class at the bottom, but all that code that's in between, just delete that and do a save all on it. And now we have a clean form here which we can copy across, okay? So you can't copy pictures, and it's not a good idea to copy the code, so we just want the form itself. We've got that, it's all nice and clean, and we're ready to copy. So there's a set of steps we follow. Oh, excuse me. I hope I'm not getting a cold or anything. All right, so the form copy steps are as follows. So first, you just, in Visual Studio, create a new Windows Forms.net app. So just making a new app as usual when you first start a project, and do a save all on it straight away. Give it a sensible name and save it somewhere. And then that old project that we just had made, that copy one, have that open. Actually, sorry, close that down in VB, because we're not going to do this in VB. But in normal Windows Explorer, if you go into the top folder of that project, there'll be the bin and these other folders as usual. But down here, there's the 3 files which are actually for that login form. So that login form in that old copy project we've made isn't just a picture that you can copy and paste across like in Word or PowerPoint. It actually consists of 3 files, a designer file, a resx, and a VB file, okay? So we need to just grab those 3 and do Control-C, and then get into the main project of our new folder our new project, get into its main folder and do Control V to copy them across into there. All right. Now, sometimes when you're doing that copy process from the old one of those 3 files into the new one you've just made, there could be a clash. So if in the old project it was named Form 1, when you make a project in VB, by default, it sets up a form called Form 1 in that new project. So when you copy across, there's going to be a name clash because it already has those 3 files called Form 1 in them. All right, so what will happen is that when you copy them across into the new project, they'll just come pasted in as form1-copy.resx and form1-copy.vb and form1.designer-copy.vb. Okay, so that's how they'll come out when you copy them across because of the name clash. And these other Form 1 here, they were the ones that were made when we started up that new project, okay? So what we need to do is very carefully rename these, keeping the same dot endings on them, because if you mess this up, they might become like an Adobe PDF file, like happened to one of our students, and then it gets in a real mess to try and fix that up, and you kind of have to go back to the start again is the easiest way. But in step 3, just be careful, and where it's got form 1-copy, we're just going to delete the 1 and the -copy out very carefully and change it to a 2. Okay, so these become form2.designer.vb, form2.resx, and form2.vb. So we just carefully rename those copy ones into these names, and then that's the step 3 here done, okay? And there's now step 4 and step 5 to do. Now in step 4 and step 5, we have renamed the files, but we actually need to go in and edit just the designer one and the normal .vb one. Don't touch the resx one, that one does not need editing, but these other 2 do. And what you do is you open them up in Windows Notepad. So here's form2.vb opened up in Notepad, and it'll still have public class form 1 in it. You just need to change that to a form 2 and save and close it. And in form2.designer.vb, you open that one up with Windows Notepad. It'll have form 1 in it. Just put a 2 there where that 1 is and save that one, and then we'll be all good to go. Okay, so you just need to do some careful kind of renaming and editing of files just to get it consistent. Now, if you called this sort of passy form or something in here instead of form 2, obviously in the class here you'd change the form 1 into passy form and over here into passy form. So whatever you're naming it, renaming it as, that's what it has to match up in the classes. I think that should make kind of sense. All right, so now we're on to the last step, step 6. So we've actually been in Windows Explorer messing around, and maybe we did some editing in Notepad, and we've got them actually physically copied into our project using normal Windows Explorer, but VB doesn't know about it yet, so we actually have to add them in the new project. Okay, because in Solution Explorer in the new project, it won't have login form.vb there yet. Even though we did some copying with Windows Explorer, it won't be in the project yet, and you have to do an add. Now, the 3 files you need to add are the VB, the designer, and the resx, but there's a very important order they have to be added into, and this is most important or it will not work. First, you copy the VB file and get that. Sorry, first you add the VB file to your project, and this is all done within the Visual Basic IDE, not in Windows Explorer. Then you add in the designer VB, and then last of all, you do the resx one. So we'll show you what we mean. So you're in your current project, and if you go to the main project name, not the solution file, but the main project name here, which will be somewhere up near the top, right click on that, and you need to do add and existing item. Another common problem is people right click on that and they do add and they go new item. It has to be right click, add existing item. Okay, so that's the first thing to be careful about. And then it'll open up a file browser. Now get into your new project's main folder and find that login form.vb that we copied into there. Okay, so you click on that and the name will just come up in here automatically, and then you do an add. And that's going to officially add that file into your actual VB project so that VB knows about it. Now you do the same things, repeat that process. You go right click in your Solution Explorer, or you can go up the top to project if you like on the main menu across the top of the page. You need to do add, and remember existing item, not new item, existing item, and do login form.designer VB and get that added. And then after you've done that, just do project add existing item and then do the login form.resx. All right, so again, I can't mention it enough times. It's critically important that you add the VB normal one first, then you add the designer one and get that done, and then you add the resx one. Do not try and add all three at once. Do not add them in the wrong order or this process won't work. So look, it does seem like a big hassle because hey, there's these 3 files and we're going to do all these steps. But look, it's a lot. Once you get to know this and you've done it a couple of times, you'll find, oh yeah, it's okay, I know what I'm doing. And it'll be a lot easier than making a brand new form from the ground up in your project. Okay, now after we've done those steps and added the 3 files, now in Solution Explorer, you should see that you've got login form.vb present there. So VB knows about that form that you copied across from your old project. And if you double click on that, it should open up and it should look fine. It'll have all the right colors and font sizes, and it'll even have the right names for the text boxes and the button. This will be called TXT user ID. That'll be called TXT password, just like it was in the old project. And this will be called BTN login. So you don't have to rename any items on your form either. So you get the formatting, you get the colors, and you get the names. So that's going to save you a lot of time once you know how to do these copy steps properly. All right, now we were trying to figure out how could we do it when there are images on the form, but we didn't have any success. So we tried copying that login form with the pictures on it. And then we thought, okay, all we have to do is just get the resources folder from that old project, which actually stores the pictures, and we'll just copy that across to the new project as well. But when we ran, it gave these designer errors. So we thought, oh, well, that's okay. What we'll do is we'll go project add new resources and let VB know about that folder of resources you've added in. So we tried that and that didn't work. We still had problems. And then we tried actually editing the designer.vb file to find out where it was getting resources from and to make sure it was changed to that file path of that one we'd copied across. And we tried all of these things. We tried lots of Googling. We searched all of Stack Overflow. There was no way we could find any way to do it. All right, so you just need to strip your form down, get rid of the picture boxes that are on it, copy it across, and then it's pretty easy just to put a couple of picture boxes on that copied new form in the new project and just import the images into them, all right? But if anyone does know some quick way to copy and paste an old form and do it all with the images all at once, then email us at passyworld at hotmail.com, because we would love to know, because we tried to figure it out and couldn't get anywhere. All right, part 2 of this lesson. You might want to take a mini break right now. And if the lesson's going too slow, remember you can always go to that tool cog in the video and set it to 1.5 speed, because I can talk slow sometimes. All right, so we've got that brand new login form copied across, but the trouble is that our form 1 in that new project keeps opening up first, and we actually want this login screen to open up first because we want that to be the front of our app, that they have to log in before they can go anywhere inside the application and see any of the other forms or do anything. But form1.vb from that new project that was automatically made by VB.net, that's going to run first at startup. So that's a problem. How do we get the login form that we copied across to run first? And it's actually fairly easily fixed, as you'll see in these screen prints. We just right click up in that Solution Explorer again. This time we click Properties, and in the Properties, there's an Application tab in the panel that pops up, and we just need to change what the startup form is. Okay, so let's have a look at this screen print by screenshot so you can see exactly what you need to do. So up the top here where it's got the main name of your project in the Solution Explorer, you just need to right click on that and it'll open this up. And we're not doing add this time, we're going right down the bottom and we're clicking on properties. And when you click on that, it'll open up a panel with all these different properties. And you need to just make sure it's on application for the type of properties we're using. And here you can see it's set to form 1. That's the default that comes with the VB project when you start a new one. And we just need to click this arrow and change it, as we'll see on the next screen. So there's a little down arrow there. So you can click that down arrow and it'll tell you all the forms that are in your project. And so we want to click on login form and get that as the startup form. And then after you've done this, you just need to go up the top and click save all to save those changes, and you can just close this user login XML property panel that's open, so you can hit that X to close it. So make sure you do save all, don't forget to save all, and then do the X. And then when you run your project, what will happen is it will do that login form first, and this was our form 1 that we had set up, which is the main menu. So this form 1 doesn't run, okay? So we've got our login form running first, and just that displays when we first start up the project. So that's all good and all finished. And there's one little third part of this lesson. Okay, we got that login form popping up first. When they log in, and it's okay, how can we make it go to that Form 1 menu, which we just saw? Now, we're not going to build the full-in login system like we have in previous lessons. If you go back to the system administration lessons, the user login, you can see how to do that. We're just going to do a little shortcut. So double-click on that login button, okay, to get into the code for it. And we're just going to add this little quick shortcut and have form1.show, so that it's going to show up that other form, and it's going to hide this password form, the login form. Now, it's called loginform.vb, but you can't actually code loginform.hide, because you can't self-refer to something while it's running. So this is running at the moment. So the way you do it is you say me.hide. So me is the current thing that's running in my project, and that'll get rid of this one and make the other one show up, all right? Now, if in here you wanted to do stuff where you checked out their user ID and password, read an external XML file and checked whether they're a legitimate user or not, and only let them go forward if that was the case, you can go back to our previous projects and see how to do that and add that in. We're just doing a quick one here because we just want to really show some basic form linking. So we're now ready to test out this and see if it all works. So when we run the application, nice, the login form opens up first because we fixed all that up so it would happen. So we're just putting in a user ID here, Uno Passi, typing in a password and clicking log in. And that little bit of code we made will just make this form 1 show up, which happens to be our main menu, okay? So this one actually disappeared, you didn't see this, and then this one was there on its own on the screen. So that's it, it's all finished and all done. So that's just some things to help you out when you're copying a form from one project to another, when you're making a new project, and how you can get a certain form to run first in your application before all of the other ones run. And it won't be form 1 because form 1's a default, but you can change that, okay? So our full programming course, like if you want to go and find out, how could I actually hook that login screen up so that it will actually work? Well, if you go to the PassiWorldOfICT.com website, click on the programming tab here and go whoa, right down. We've got lots of lessons you can do, and it's best you've done these in order because a lot of the lessons we got coming up, after this one especially, we're going to be searching data grid views. That's a long involved lesson, and you need to have done previous lessons for that. So here we are, VB user login using XML file. So if you actually want to connect that login screen up with an external file that's got the valid user IDs and password in it, this is the lesson to go and look at. So you click here to go to the lesson, and it seems to be a little bit slow, but anyway, we just give you an overview of what's happening in the lesson. So we got an XML file of the users. When they put it in, it's going to be found and it's going to let them go to the other screen. Okay, so we go through how to create the file, and the idea is that we had a main screen here actually, and you could click login, then get to a login screen. Then if everything was good, it would take you to the main menu screen. So yeah, there's a whole lesson about that, and this is all the things we cover in the lesson. There's the video, so you can click on that and watch the video for that lesson, and put it at 1.5 speed if you want to go a bit faster. You can download a couple of the images here, and very cheaply, like for less than the price of a couple of chicken nuggets, 2 or 3 chicken nuggets at McDonald's, you can actually buy the step-by-step instructions and a Word document with the program code securely through PayPal for that lesson. All right, and you can, some of our lessons are free, and that's what we should tell you actually. This current lesson that we're doing here is actually going to be a free one. Yeah, so the downloads for this lesson are free. So if you go to the link in the video description there, it'll take you to the Passi World of ICT website, and you won't have to use PayPal, and you can have those 3 chicken nuggets if you want to with the money you've saved, although they're very unhealthy for you and we do not recommend you eat them. But you can go there and get them for free without having to use any PayPal. So this is a free lesson. Free stuff is good stuff. So there's lots of good stuff coming up, and we're doing videos pretty much every week. So subscribe to our channel so you always get the latest updates and see our videos. And give this video a click with the thumbs up if you like it and you found it useful, or you think you might find it useful in the future. And we'll see you in the next lesson.